What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2 premiere. Derek, we eating good this year already.
Already, man, from jump. And from the jump, the episode just kicks in. Like, it gives you like a refresher, kind of like, the pretty much the highlights of how the vigilante group formed. How, Knuckle Duster, once he got his, he finished his story for now, that we think.
Yeah.
He went off, and it's just now Pop Step and Koichi, and they just jump in right to the next like issue. Like, they're going to Osaka and doing like an idol event, and already something's going down. They're doing some type of investigation with the new trigger drug, and man, this episode just felt like it was really well paced. Like, nothing overstayed its welcome. Like, from Rip, we get Fat Gum, and seeing him in different gear too was weird, was different. But he's still Fat Gum at heart. It's like, my takoyaki, I didn't even make a dent in it. And it's like, I saved it for you.
Well, and it was cool seeing Fat Gum, earlier. I can't remember how. I think it's like 20 years or something like that. Vigilantes to My Hero.
Yeah, I think roughly around
So it's like Fat Gum would be pretty early in the game still.
Yeah.
So it's like his gear would kind of reflect that. So that was really, really cool. But I love the very intro where like the other idols are like on the track and all of that, and the twins
and they perfectly called it. Is like, oh, she's with her manager Koichi. It's like, I bet he missed the train, and then like 2 seconds later,
stand. I was like, oh, is this just her like fantasizing? And then it's like, nope, not at all. But Koichi
and that's the thing too. Is like, we do see that Koichi has a power upgrade as well.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'd like to know like so that begs the questions like what his power is, because we saw like a hint in season 1 where he's chasing a villain, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden he can fly. And his mom was like, yeah, he could do that since he was a baby. It's just, it scared me so much that I kind of like stopped him from doing it. And now he just kind of, so it's like, all right, what other powers does his quirk let him have? Because he's got glide, he's got magnetism now, apparently, and he can float. So it's like, what is your power, son? So I need to understand, because it's not, I think you need to rename it. It's not slide and glide. It's definitely something else.
Yeah. When he actually gets to unlock his power, it isn't like that part of the brain. It's like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Where he can get past that. I think Koichi's going to be a pretty dope.
Yeah.
Superhero and everything. But we get to see Fat Gum and Pop and Koichi interacting.
Yep.
And I love that Fat Gum reminds me a lot of Hagrid, where Hagrid almost gives away he does give away everything, and Fat Gum almost gives away, hey, we're doing a sting operation.
Right. It's like, we're doing a sting. Oh, wait, I can't talk about that with you
guys. It's like, okay, dude, you don't even know these two.
Right. You're just gabbing him. And then it's like, doesn't he say something about, he sees Pop or something? Is like, huh, you look familiar, or something like. It's almost like Fat Gum or
that was the detective.
Oh,
he was like, oh,
okay,
she looks remember, yeah.
So, but it's just ironic that like from the jump, like Fat Gum is just one of those innocent people that like, he's just that lovable doofus. Like you said, he's Hagrid. Is like, you can't be mad at him, but it's like, dude, come on, I need you to do a little bit better.
I think my favorite part of this whole episode was the Eraserhead part.
Yes.
Where we got to see him taking on 2 thugs that were using trigger. And he was like, hey, he's like, if you talk with me, he's like, I'm not going to press charges. I'm not going to bring you to the police or anything. And then they're just like hanging out, drinking tea or something.
Like just chilling, like, oh, okay, this dude's serious. Cool. Let's go tell him what we know.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, like this is such an interesting dynamic compared to where we see him later when he's teaching class 1A.
Correct. So it's Pro Hero Aizawa is definitely way different than Teacher Aizawa, and we'll see that from, I'm sure, a lot of characters, like with Midnight, with President Mike. I'm sure we'll see a lot of the different dynamics from where we see him in Vigilantes compared to when we see him in My Hero proper.
Yeah, because a lot has happened. We've seen the rise of, All for One and everything between all of that. But when he's talking with the police, and he's like, we need you to, question them. He's like, I don't do that. He's like,
Nope.
I'm about beating them up.
Right.
I was like, yeah. I was like, that's Batman
no
right there.
It's a no from me, Chief. I put him away. I don't I don't do undercover work.
Yeah, I was like, there we go.
So,
but it was cool seeing Midnight with him in
yes.
that scene and everything, and them having a little conversation. Because at first I was like, who is this? And then I was like, oh, that's Midnight.
Yeah. So, and then of course, we see him at the expo, and then we get introduced to this new character. I call her Crab Girl because of her hair, and then she's like piloting like a crab mech essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has to all of a sudden run out. Like I thought she was going to be another Mei Hatsume, because she's this like all this like quirky, weird, like exuberant, excited. And they're talking about like, yeah, she's done really good for our company. She's like the face of our company now, like especially for marketing. And then all of a sudden she runs off. And then like before that, we see Sukauchi and Fat Gum talk about this new strain of trigger on the street, and they're trying to find the distributor and see where the manufacturing plant is, all that kind of stuff. And you see her run off, and you think, oh, is she going to be the next queen, like the queen bee from season 1? It's like, okay, is she the next distributor? And then you find out, nope, she's working with Fat Gum and Sukauchi. She's just putting on her undercover gear and getting ready, because the company she actually works for, she's undercover infiltrating, because they're the distributor. She's just trying to find the main source of and trying to get proof that they are distributing trigger drug to pretty much put them away.
Yeah. And I was not expecting like the crab thing, and her energy was just like over the top. And I was like, okay, like, and Pop knows how to turn it on and off, you know what I mean? But she was just like all gung ho, and then like talking from one to the next, and like going across the room and all of that. I was like, oh my gosh. But I was on the same wavelength. I was like, oh, she's the next distributor. And I was like, please don't be, because I felt like it was just retread a lot of the same. But then it was like, oh no, she's like a police officer or whatever, and she's going undercover. And that's kind of where we get left on the episode, which I feel like, with the juxtaposition of Eraserhead, Fat Gum, and then the Pop and Koichi and everything, like we're going to get a very interesting episode 2.
Yes. So, and this arc that we're in now is only like 7 chapters, so it's probably going to wrap up by next episode. But it's going to lead into like the next one, which is like 20 something chapters long. So it's going to be a longer arc. So I feel like that's going to lead into like the next big thing. And from what I've read, like synopsis wise, like the guy we see at the end of season 1 that flies off, that's got the scar on his face, that goes and gets like the bee or whatever with the trigger, with the new version of Trigger. He's going to play more of a role down the line, but I'm assuming he'll play more of a role this season as well. So I'm intrigued to see how he's going to play into it, what his ability is like, because the next one is called the Sky Egg arc, which is unfortunately we're going to see more. They're going to bring back Captain Celebrity for that arc, so it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to come back into this. But again, if the rest of the season follows suit the way episode 1 did of this season, we're going to be in for a good treat, because I feel like season 1 did enough to keep us interested, just like My Hero season 1. But I felt like it's almost like the writer learned from how the My Hero proper started, and it's like, okay, let me make it to where like obviously our characters are not going to be as interesting as Deku or Bakugo, or you know what I mean? Like we're going to have crossover, but Koichi is not going to be Deku. Like he's an intriguing character, but he's not going to be the same type of character as Deku. So we need to find different ways to keep people interested and invested in this show.
And going from the different characters, where like My Hero was all Deku, where like you followed him, but this you get like Grandpa Freaky Hands or whatever they call him,
Freaky Fist Grandpa.
Yeah, Freaky Fist Grandpa. You get like their stories, which I feel like makes it interesting where you're not spending too much time with one of the main characters too long, because like I said, they don't have as much depth as the others and everything. And then bringing in the other superheroes, the actual A-list heroes in, is also making it pretty interesting. I'm excited for this season. Like the way that humor is being used, I love. Like I love the juxtaposition of comedy and action like that. That's what I'm all about when it comes to anime.
Exactly. 100%. That's what makes anime great. And I do hope, like, I don't expect it to get this season. If so, maybe at the very end, like the last, like the post credit after the finale, like seeing it at the end. But I do hope we get Knuckle Duster, like, because something tells me that because you don't introduce him and then take him away in the same season for him not to come back. You know what I mean? Like yes, his goal was to get his daughter back, but you also know that you just see it in him. It won't go away. He needs to go deeper and be like, all right, this drug trigger affected my daughter and like really changed her. It's like, now I need to get to the real source of this. So I feel like there might be also something deeper on that too. So I don't know. Like I hope we do see him later down the road, even if it's like the last season.
I hope we get a little bit more tease of All for One this season as well, because we did get a little last season, and I want more this season because I know he's my boy. He's my boy.
Yeah. He's such a good villain.
He is. And the theme is great. Well, there you have it, everybody. That is our episode 1 reaction to My Hero Vigilantes. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. We'll be discussing more and more on our Eat Sleep Anime podcast, so check that out. This has been Zach
and Derek.
Y'all blessed week. Bye-bye.